Welcome back to Bend the Spoon. I'm Chad. This video is my monthly installment of questions and answers. If you follow my other channel, you know that I like to do a questions and answers segment at least once a month, if possible. Many of you have asked some fantastic questions, and it's always best to answer them in video form so everyone can hear the answers. In this video, I have a bunch of questions and comments, mostly from my other channel, Open Your Reality, that I want to respond to. At least 15, so I'll go through each one as fast as possible. Just a reminder, if you haven't subscribed, please do so now. Thank you. All right, the first question up is from Gentleman. He says, I have a question. We learned the simulation thing just some years back when computers were invented. In the future, will we invent something new and call that the reality? I am really confused. That's a great question. My response is that the answer is no. The reality that we live in does not change based on our technological inventions. Our implicate reality is the same now as it was in the time of Buddha, and it will be the same way 1,000 years from now. Describing the greater reality is difficult to do through words. I've attempted to do just that in making videos on this channel and Open Your Reality, and it's proven to be quite difficult. Of course, 2,500 years ago, during Buddha's time, nobody knew about or could even conceive of a computer. So Buddha had to use the language available to him to make people understand reality. And when I say reality, I mean the greater picture, the whole picture. We are living in a small part of it. In a way, we're kind of blessed to be living in the computer age because we can use computers, programming, code, etc. as metaphors to more accurately describe the greater reality. And that's what Tom Campbell, creator of My Big Toe, sometimes does in his talks and books. He uses computer analogies because it's very useful. In the future, will there be a technology that supersedes computers to better describe reality? Maybe, but technology itself can't or won't change the greater reality we reside in. By the way, Tom has an acronym for the greater reality called AUM, or AUM, which stands for Absolute Unbounded Manifold. This is basically the end and be all of reality, or at least the reality that we know. I don't want to get into the specifics of that right now. Just keep in mind, in Tom's theory, the AUM is a closed system and finite. That's right, infinity is not real, it's just an idea. And I thought I was going to blast through these questions. Well, I'll try to be more brief as we go. The next question comes from Startmar on the Babaji video I posted over a year ago on Open Your Reality, which is now my most popular video there with almost 600,000 views. You can check it out on the other channel if you want. It is a great video, so I implore you to do so when you have time. Here's the question. No offense. Why do these masters wear weird clothes, half naked, and rather naked? Okay. There's a few reasons. First, many of these masters come from India, where the weather is quite warm. It makes sense to dress lightly. Secondly, true spiritual masters are not pretentious or materialistic, and so they dress quite simply and humbly, similar to monks. And yes, there are some sadhus who go naked. They are extremists who want to hammer home the point that material objects, even clothing, is unnecessary. The famous Greek philosopher and Stoic Diogenes often went naked, and he was perhaps the most eccentric philosopher that ever lived. And if you want to see an interesting video on him, you can watch it on, yes, fill in the blank, my other channel, Open Your Reality. I'm not posting any of the links to that channel below for certain reasons. Some of you know what that is. So to see the videos, you'll just have to go over there and do it manually. Sorry. Moving on, we have a comment from Tori Victoria, love that name, who is an avid watcher of both my channels. Thank you, Tori. She wrote, Chad, we missed your videos. I'm finished with My Big Toe. Just like, wow, thanks for recommending. Sure thing, Tori. I took a few weeks off from making videos. Ironically, this is the 9th video I'm posting this month between my two channels, which is quite a few videos considering the time I took off. In case you don't know what book Tori is talking about, she's referring to this giant one right here. It's called My Big Toe by Tom Campbell, and this is actually 3 books in one: Awakening, Discovery, and Inner Workings. And you can buy them all together like I have here, or separately. I of course recommend reading this book, but only if you're someone open-minded and have the patience to read a lot of pages, 820 in all. But the book offers a very thorough explanation of Tom's theory of everything, and if you want to read it for free, you can do so at no cost on Google Books. Next, we have a question from James Merrick. Staying alone, aren't you afraid of ghosts and evil spirits? I also stay alone and have lots of night terrors during sleep. No, James, I am not scared of being alone. I actually prefer it, as I've said before in my videos. And when you delve deep into meditation and spend a lot of time alone, you realize that if your mind is focused on reducing entropy and focused on the divine, nothing paranormal can harm you. Now, I admit some people are susceptible to evil entities, but that's only in people who carry around a lot of fear. And usually those fears stem from traumatic experiences that they had earlier in life. And these people often end up having negative dreams, which haunt them right down to the subconscious level. And since like attracts like, they can draw all types of evil entities. However, when your mind is pure, with very few fears, and you're always focused on positivity, there's no issues whatsoever. Keep in mind, drinking alcohol, taking drugs, and eating a trash diet also contribute to being a vessel for negative entities. I don't do any of it, and I never did. Well, I did eat poorly when I was younger. I didn't realize it, but I've cleaned my diet up. Basically, a lot of you have been asking about my diet. Let's just say this. I eat mostly raw food and drink distilled water. And I eat almost nothing processed. In my whole life, I have to say I'm fortunate. I've never experienced any negative entities, and I don't fear them in the waking state or in the dream world. I hope that helps. Next up is a comment from Vinewood Star on a video I made about reincarnation on, yes, my other channel. The comment reads, I really hope once I go, I don't come back, meaning once I die, I do not want to return to this world. Well, you're not the only person who feels this way, Vinewood Star. A lot of people do. As Rocky himself said, life is a very mean and nasty place, and it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. That's a quote from the 2006 movie Rocky Balboa, in case you're wondering. I have a short, interesting story about that movie, give you a little peek into my life. I went to see it the day it premiered and dragged along my ex-wife, who at that point lived in Thailand almost her whole life and had never seen the Rocky movies. I basically brought her here on a K1 fiancé visa, but that's another video. And frankly, she had no interest in the Rocky saga, never saw them, and I'm a huge fan of Rocky, and I can get kind of emotional in movies like that. And when that movie came out, it had been 16 years since the last Rocky movie, which was Rocky 5. For those of you old enough to remember. So I'm sitting there in the theater, bawling my eyes out, such as in scenes when Rocky visits Adrian's grave. I don't know, it was very emotional for me. And my wife is looking at me like I'm completely nuts. She was even laughing with not a shred of understanding for the emotions I was experiencing. And we're talking about a lifetime of Rocky here. All right, back to Vinewood Star's comment. Right now, many of you feel that this life is tough, and who can blame you for not wanting to return? Even I feel that way sometimes, like when YouTube painfully put a fork in my other channel. Why, oh great LCS, did you allow this? That was such a high entropy choice by the powers that be. It probably set the channel back 100,000 subscribers and 5 million views. But life must go on, and so here we are in Bend the Spoon. But seriously, what you have to realize is that when it's all over and you log off this data stream and return to your higher self, the memory of this life and all the associated trouble with it will soon fade away like a dream you no longer remember. All of the bills, all of the relationship problems, everything gone. You'll no longer remember, and at that point you'll be in a different reality frame, and eventually, sooner than later, be anxious to start another life experience. For young souls, they'll jump right back into a new body. For more advanced souls, they'll more cautiously plan out a new life and then go again. Very few souls opt not to return because this is really the only way to make progress for a soul. Moving on to the next question, it comes from Angela Lackey on a video I made about life after death and Tom Campbell's theory of my big toe. In case you didn't get the memo, again, all of these videos I mentioned are from my other channel, Open Your Reality. Angela asks, and who are you? And how do we know to trust your theory. There are millions with millions of theories. Have we ever been so lost? Well, I can imagine how she feels. Most of you probably feel something similar, unless you've been treading the spiritual path for a long time and have a good understanding of ultimate reality. Who am I? Who is Tom Campbell? First, let me tell you, my big toe, or MBT for short, is Tom's theory and not mine. I am a believer in the theory and talk about it in my videos. I believe Tom's theory is the closest approximation we have to ultimate reality, which is why I so heavily embrace it. You next asked, how can you trust it? The truth is, Angela, you can't. I'm not here to ask you to trust the theory. Tom himself would tell you, always be an open-minded skeptic. One of my favorite quotes is, believe those who seek the truth, doubt those who find it. If you are open to learning about MBT, then study it and see how you feel about the theory. If it makes sense, great. If not, throw it away and move on. The next part of your question states there are millions of people with millions of theories. Actually, that's not true at all if you really think about it. Very few people or religions have come up with a fully comprehensive system that explains everything in reality. Tom's system is called a theory of everything because it can explain, well, everything, at least in a general sense. MBT gives understanding to different reality frames, reincarnation, the soul, the physical sciences, the paranormal, and on and on. And religions don't offer that. Nor do any other theories that I've ever come across. Even great ideologies like the Law of One aren't a system, but rather a tapestry of ideas. Tom is this unique blend of consciousness researcher and hard scientist, which is actually a very rare mix. And what's so cool about a system is that it's laid out in clear modern English using metaphors and language we can perfectly understand. And this in itself is able to get us closer to the truth than we've ever been in human history. Of course, this is my humble opinion. Incidentally, I want to add this comment from Kunj saying, Tom Campbell looks similar to the architect of The Matrix. Yes, this is very true and not perhaps at all a coincidence. The Wachowski brothers, who wrote the Matrix films, were keenly aware of Tom at that time, and legend has it that they deliberately chose the architect to look like Tom. Now, I can't verify that with 100% accuracy, but that's what I heard. If anyone can verify it through a link or something like that, drop me a line in the comments. Moving along, we come to a question by Ravi on my 10 superpowers yogis have in real life video, of course on the other channel. Ravi asks, what is the point of all these powers? Do they do anything to solve any problems? Impractical powers. Well, I made that video to demonstrate the powers that yogis are capable of performing. To speak candidly, a lot of people want to know about those powers, and it's quite inspirational to all who are on the spiritual path. Plus, let's face it, superpowers are entertaining to see and know about. Are powers like those necessary to becoming enlightened, so to speak? Absolutely not. Most great adepts who've acquired one or more of these powers usually do not flaunt them. Rarely will you ever even know about these people unless you're a sannyasin or disciple of them. And I'll give you one quick example. In the 20th century, there lived a great sadhu named Swami Nityananda. I read his biography, and in it are a number of accounts how he used his powers to help his disciples. I even made a video about Swami Nityananda on the other channel, talking about the best stories from the book that demonstrate his power. If you're curious, you can watch it over there. Yes, the other channel. Originally, I was going to post this video on Open Reality. However, being that it was so long, I thought it better suited for Bend the Spoon, as it can help increase watch time, which is important for new channels like this one. Next up is a question from Budget PC Bills, who asks, what's your thoughts on lucid dreaming? Well, I haven't a great deal to say about it. Lucid dreaming is simply being aware that you are in a dream when it's happening. I do believe that some dreams are your imagination, while others can easily be different reality frames. Some of you may even go to the same place in your dreams, which are these other realities. I personally feel like I do this quite a lot in my own dreams. I have had lucid dreams, and they are quite interesting to say the least, but not many. And one other question here that I'll add in, because I saw this on the other channel. Someone asked, when you dream, are you going to other realities? And like I said, I do believe that you can. All right, let's keep it moving. Galactus Monitor, I just love these names, asks, and I'll have to rephrase this into a clear question, by the way. In the Matrix movie, the Oracle claims when people see angels, ghosts, vampires, or werewolves, that it's a glitch in the Matrix. Do you believe this is true in real life? Correct me if I'm wrong, people, but I don't remember the Oracle saying anything like that. I know Trinity tells Neo that deja vu is a glitch in the Matrix. As for real life, could there be glitches in the Matrix? I believe there can. Maybe the Mandela effect is one, actually a pretty big one. As for ghosts and angels, most people view them as paranormal. But if you understand MBT, then you would know that there is nothing essentially paranormal in existence because the unexplained actually does have an explanation, and is therefore quite normal. Werewolves and vampires are different from angels and ghosts, whereas the latter is more ephemeral. Werewolves and vampires, if they exist, are flesh and blood beings like ourselves. Are there people who drink blood now and in the past? Yes. Do they look like vampires and look like Count Dracula? Perhaps not really. And this is a good tie-in actually to our next question, which is more along the lines of medicine than spirituality, but I think I can answer it. Love You asks, can you explain why there are different blood types? The short answer is that some blood types are more prone to certain diseases than others. If a particular disease hits the population, it will, in theory, only wipe out the people with the blood type susceptible to it. The other blood types will survive, at least that's the theory. So looked at in those terms, various blood types is a survival function of nature put in place to stave off humanity from being wiped out by just one disease. And I'm sure there are other scientific reasons, but that's the most significant one, at least to me. And now we come up to the last comment from Ottawa, who asked a question on a recent video I made on numerology on Yes, the other channel. How do you know if you have a master number? I'm a number 4. Well, as I explained in that video, Ottawa, if your birth date totals 11, 22, or 33, you're a master number. If it doesn't equate to one of those 3 numbers, I'm afraid you're not a master number. For example, when you add my day of birth, birth month, and year of birth together, it comes to 25. Since it needs to be a number less than 9, unless you're a master number, simply add the 2 digits together to get your number. So in my case, for 25, 2 plus 5 equals 7, and that's what I am. But don't fret if you're not a master number. All numbers are special in their own regard. Hope that helps. I want to leave off by saying that unfortunately I can't read every comment you guys post, but when I do have a free block of time, I will go back through the comments section, read them, and respond to as many as possible. Some of you may have received a response from me recently on a comment you posted a week or even a month ago. I apologize for the delay, but I simply don't have time in the day between my 2 jobs, making videos, and my own spiritual practice to get back to everyone. I am super grateful though to have seen so many awesome, mind-blowing comments, and I thank everyone who watches Open Your Reality and Bend the Spoon. Remember, you can support both channels at patreon.com/openyourreality. Thank you to everyone who has made it to the end here and who has been a support system for me. If you found value in this video, please tap the like button and keep notifications on because a new video will be coming out shortly, possibly on the Law of One. Yep. The Law of One. I'm working on something for it now, so hopefully it'll be out soon. Until then, remember, to deny our own impulses is to deny the very thing that makes us human. So don't deny your impulses any longer. Click one of these 2 videos and indulge your curiosity. See you soon.